Hello and welcome back to this week's episode of the Combat Chatters podcast. Today I'm joined with Solly, and we got a big card last week to talk about. A few fights on next week's card to talk about as well. Obviously, probably one of the biggest upsets in the UFC we've just witnessed this weekend. What was your initial thoughts when you realised Sean Strickland was actually going to win?
Yeah, so a bit of a weird one for me. Unfortunately, I wasn't there this week to watch you boys.
You were having a good night in many
I was
other
having a
ways.
good night. Yeah. I was actually sat on my bed about 6 in the morning. I thought, UFC, and as soon as I opened it up, I was looking at people in the room who don't watch UFC, going, Sean Strickland just beating Adesanya, and they're all looking at me like, what are you talking about? I'm like, you don't understand.
Yeah, it was a crazy one. Obviously, the whole card was packed with action throughout. From the early prelims, we had some great fights on there, all the way up to the main card. We're just gonna break down the top three card, but the top three fights in the card because last week we didn't do a podcast, so we didn't actually break down all these fights. But yeah, I feel like there's some very interesting talking points we can talk about for this card. But the first fight we're gonna get into was obviously the man stirring up at the press conference. We'll get into that before we get into the actual fight. What did you think of Manuel Cape's? How should I say it?
I've been saying Manuel Capi.
Oh no, just carrying on.
Scared of whatever I can in there.
Yeah, you're getting it right either way then.
Yeah.
Yeah, his performance in the press conference. How excited did that get you for his fight?
I mean, yeah, it gets you pumped up.
Yeah.
When he's telling Israel and Adesanya to sit down, I mean, come on.
Yeah, I mean,
Kai Kara France there right in front of him, like
through
waving at him.
what
Like,
was that? It would remind me of the Nate Diaz days when him and Conor were just launching drinks at each other from across the stage.
Mate.
But yeah, obviously I feel like he's a very promotable star in the UFC, and him getting a massive win and been on a tear since his first loss to Banjota. How impressed were you by his actual performance?
I thought his performance was really good. He was dipping, moving. There was some. He's really fast.
Yeah.
Really fast. Like that slip counter you're on about.
Counter, yeah.
And he just.
He hit Muscle with that punch like 3 times.
Yeah, I think as well though, you can't take it away from Santos. I mean, this is mad. Like Cappy had a brilliant performance, but at the same time, this kid was put in deep water.
23 years old, meant to be fighting on Contender Series and called up for this one instead, and he showed out. Like, that was an impressive performance. I think we should talk a bit more about him and just him in general. Obviously, 7-0 coming in, meant to be fighting on the Contender Series and being chucked in against a top 10 opponent. And on most people's mind, they'd be worried. In the press conference, he looked very confident, and in the fight, he was so confident. What do you think of his skill set in general?
I think he's got an arsenal of weapons.
Yeah.
I mean, Bite Size Oliveira came out that night.
Yeah, the Muay Thai was on show, wasn't it?
It was brilliant. I think he utilised his teep kicks a lot just to keep that range.
Yeah.
Came in spinning a lot with those elbows, and
I think it was a bit of inexperience there, a little bit, but I mean, he made the fight entertaining.
He made it entertaining, but to be fair, to come in and do what he did, every time Cape was in his face, he was back in there at the same time. Everything he got thrown with, got punched with, he threw back instantly, and that's what you like to see. Just a young fighter, and you know what? I think he earned.
I mean, he probably deserves another
respect that night.
I think as well, coming off that performance, he deserves another ranked opponent for his second fight.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
I don't have the flyweight rankings on me, but like for that performance, you can give him a shout at fighting anyone in the top 15.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. He's come in and he's fought 10 number 10, isn't he? Yeah. So he's come in and fought the 10th ranked fighter after he should have been on Contender Series. Come straight onto a main card and fights a 10th ranked fighter. If you give him anyone less than rank, then I think it's disrespectful.
So I've got the rankings here. Number 15 is Taishiro Tara, who's obviously the young Asian prospect. But I don't know if that's a great matchup. God, these rankings. Maybe Matt Schnell, perfect matchup. I'd love to see Dos Santos against Matt Schnell. That's giving him number 13 there. I think Mohamed Mukaev might be a bit too much of a jump again straight away. Mukaev deserves to fight up in my room.
Definitely.
But yeah, I think that him against Matt Schnell is a great matchup, and I'd favour him in that one because the Arsenal he showed, the toughness he showed, I was just so impressed with his performance.
Yeah, definitely 100%.
And just ending it off with Manuel Cape's performance. I mean, I think people were expecting a cleaner performance because he's fighting such a young kid on his debut. But I think considering the kid's skill set, you got to give Manuel Cape just as much credit as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, him against Kai France as maybe like a title eliminator fight. I mean, that's a banger. I mean, that has put so much hype in that fight. I think that fight alone is bigger than any fight you can make for the title, just for hype around it now, because the beef.
100%, yeah. How do you reckon that'll play out then, Cara France, Cape?
I mean,
I feel I'd go with Manel on that one.
Would you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I would edge him,
tank.
but Kai's been there with the best guys, and I thought he won his last fight against who did he fight? I can't remember, but I thought he won his last fight. Can't remember off the top of my head, but it was some Russian sounding name. I actually can't remember the guy, but I'll get annoyed at myself. Like, I should have it up, but you know, Kai's shown he's an elite level fighter. Obviously having a very competitive fight with Moreno as well before that fight ended.
100%.
So that fight is a banger. So I'm not sure. I think in my head I'm not really sure what I'd go with in that one, but you know, it's at that level anyone can win.
Oh mate, the flyweights as well. Like we were saying when we're watching these fights back, it's just speed. And they're coming in so fast, and their conditioning is. It
was Albazi for last.
Oh yeah,
Amir Albazi. Yeah, I can't remember his name, but yeah. Anyway, getting into the next fight on the card, obviously there are two heavyweight bangers. Volkov back. People call him Swolkov now because the weight he's put on, just looking like a beast in there. And Tuivasa, you know, brings it as usual, but it was just too much for him.
I think it was an absolutely clean performance from Volkov, despite what the commentary, I don't know what they were talking about, an absolute war. I mean...
I think it was like, the second round, it was only 2 head strikes.
It was 2 head strikes. Volkov, like 58, 59? I just think that was just mad to hear that from the commentary.
Crazy.
But clean performance, he came in, and Arsenal utilised his body kicks, and every time Ty came rushing in, he just blitzed him with hooks.
Kickboxing for the size he is so good. Yeah. Imagine how scary it must be standing across from a bloke like that.
See the size of the bloke's legs?
Yeah, and the first tattoo he gets is a tattoo big enough to cover any normal sized human man's body.
You could wrap that around the Santos twice.
Yeah, literally. But the performance in general, what performance, just the striking on show was immense. And
then he mauled him on the ground.
Yeah. I mean, they were going on about, the commentary were going on about the leg kicks, chewing up the legs, and I think it was effective, it was bothering him a little bit. But I mean, DC saying, Volkov's better off staying on the ground because his legs too chewed up, like stuff like that. Just that's what frustrates me about people like DC and even Bisping. He's one of my favourite fighters, but they can say some silly stuff.
Yeah, I know. I think what I really liked just before it went to the ground, I think he caught the leg off Ty, came straight down the middle, and then just jumped on top of him.
Yeah, and I mean that's after a few leg kicks landed, that's what he was doing every time. He was either catching it or countering it with a straight right, and he didn't drop him twice, but Ty ended up on the ground twice because of those situations, and then the choke. I mean, you're more of a jiu-jitsu guy than me, but how impressed are you with that mounted Ezekiel choke?
Yeah, Ezekiel's hard enough in a gi.
Yeah.
And he just wraps it up so nicely.
He's just so big, he must just be suffocating.
I mean, you saw before, he was above Ty, he had one hand planted on the ground, and he was just dropping bombs on him.
Yeah. Ty did not look like he wanted to be there.
I'm not going to lie, I wasn't impressed at all. He was rushing in, he was a bit sloppy. I mean, the leg kick's about the only thing I'd say he had.
It is a very hard matchup for him, but at the same time, I think it's kind of on us as well, because I feel like all of us as fans got carried away with the Tuivasa hype train. You
saw what happened against
Gan, Pavlovich, and now this one as well. I mean, I think he's a very good fighter, but let's be real, he's not a top 5 level fighter. Like, he found himself in the top 5, and I don't feel like that's going to come back anytime soon.
Your power can get you so far.
Yeah, exactly. Like we saw with Derek Lewis, he was in the top 5 for years. Yeah. And I love Derek Lewis, but he's one of the least complete fighters I've ever seen. It's crazy.
Hey, look, man. You got that knee.
Yeah, you've been looking for it long enough. But yeah, great submission, great performance from Volkov.
First Ezekiel ever, right?
Yeah, from Mount, I think. Yeah,
in the UFC.
Yeah, he was training with Oleinik, who obviously I think he's got like 4 of the 6 Ezekiel chokes from the.
So
I think is it usually from side control they get or like sort of.
Yeah, you can do. I've always gone. I've always done it from Mount. To be honest. Yeah.
Oh, that's yeah, I guess yeah, it does seem maybe it is done from Mount usually, but
yeah, but you can do it from side control.
Yeah, I feel like yeah, Oleinik helped them a lot with stuff like that. We see Oleinik on the ground. He has like I don't know off the top of my head, but so many different submissions on his resume, and Volkov training with him is going to help a lot. And he's been talking about how much his jiu-jitsu and wrestling's improved.
And he did show it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, after the Curtis Blades fight, he needed to improve. So
yeah.
The main event, obviously, a bit more to talk about on this point. Sean Strickland causing before we break down the fight. Sorry. I've seen a few people throw around the phrase that this could be the biggest UFC upset ever. So I'm just gonna, off the top of my head, I'm just gonna name some and we can go through what we think the worst is. So I think the Holly Holm Ronda Rousey one.
Yeah.
The Pina Amanda Nunes one. The Bisping Rockhold one I'll put in there because it was a week's notice and he lost already. Obviously the GSP Matt Serra one.
Yeah.
And I said Holly Holm Ronda, didn't I?
Yeah, there's another one as well. It's just popped into my head.
Oh, Alexa Grasso, Shevchenko, and that's something. But how do you think Sean Strickland compares to those sort of upsets? Like the Matt Serras and the Pinas and... What chance did you give him before the fight?
You know what chance I gave him before the fight.
Was it 0?
We knew...
I don't think we spoke about this though, did we?
Right. Someone we know was saying, Strickland's going to win.
The whole time.
Strickland's going to win. And word for word, I remember what I said to him. I said to him, if you think Strickland is going to beat Adesanya, you are deluded. Yeah. If you think there's any chance Strickland can beat Adesanya, you are deluded. And I wholeheartedly apologise, Sean.
Are you going to make a public apology to our friend right here? Calling him an idiot for picking
sorry, Robbie.
Yeah, I mean, he was backing it from the start, and I mean, I shook his hand as soon as the fight and then apologised as well, so he's got that from both of us.
Just didn't see it coming.
I feel like someone puts a gun to anyone who's saying Sean Strickland's going to win, surely they still go Izzy.
We'd be dead right now.
Yeah, and there'd be about 10 people in this world just chilling.
I just still right now thinking about it, it's mad.
So, I want to squash one elephant about this fight. That's not saying, I don't know why I said that.
Squash the elephant in the room.
Yeah, that'll do.
I want to squash one elephant. I mean, Tighty Bassett did get squashed the fight before, so...
Yeah, one elephant, one squash. But, a lot of people saying Izzy didn't turn up. It's sort of taken away from Sean Strickland's win. At the time, I said a bit of a mad statement that Izzy looked like he gave it to him, which I did not mean in the fact that Izzy let him win. I meant the fact that in the 5th round when you're losing that bad, he did not bite down on the mouthpiece once and even try. But I don't even want to put that out there because Sean Strickland fought perfectly that night.
This is the thing. He got given an opportunity and a moment, and he rose to it.
Yeah.
That is what happened.
The Sean Strickland rose to the...
Sean Strickland. Sugar Sean Strickland. In the house.
Mate, I saw a meme a few months...
That's 2 Seans who've upset the UFC community.
I saw a meme a few months ago and it was, this is about to make America great again, and it was a photo of Sean O'Malley, Sean Strickland and Kobe Covington, the champion, and 2 of them have come true. So I am so worried for the Leon Edwards fight. But I do back Leon for that one. But anyway, going back to Sean Strickland because I feel like he deserves a decent margin of this podcast just dedicated to him.
Yeah.
I feel like that, for me, is the best defense performance I've watched myself since I've been a UFC fan. I don't know. What did you think of his defense?
I thought it was brilliant. I mean, we were talking about that Philly shell, you know?
Yeah,
he's just there, stood there, and he's waiting.
Yeah.
And he's patient. And every time he was given an opportunity, he pounced.
Yeah.
I mean, Izzy didn't get through. And it really annoyed Izzy.
Maybe 2 right hands got through the whole fight.
And nose didn't phase Strickland.
No.
He wound Izzy up. Yeah. I think he got in Izzy's head, personally.
obviously I feel like I've mentioned this guy quite a lot recently, but I feel like he had a big impact on some of the light shed on some of Israel Adesanya's strange behavior. Obviously, the MMA guru released a video. Izzy is a strange guy. Some of the posts he has put himself, it's not like it's caught out of context or nothing. It's just a lot of weird stuff going on, and you saw a lot of the fan base sort of change. A lot of them seem like they don't like him. Do you think?
He's part of the world almost as well. You know what I mean?
Do you think the hate is more towards people just sick of Izzy's persona and he's a weird guy, or do you think everyone's
do you think
just
that played
salty?
a part? And
I do.
that got to
I
his
actually
head?
do.
Because
I do think.
You remember? Do you remember? We were talking about this earlier actually when Strickland says, like you comfortable with who you are?"
Yeah,
and
yeah. In the press conference, he was like, "I ride motorcycles, I shoot guns, I like hot women," and then he was naming all the weird stuff I had a into, and he's like, "I'm proud of who I am. Are you?" And Izzy man really got roasted in that press conference. Man out caped to Sean Strickland, he was all over the shop.
Yeah. Do you think
it's got to have played a part, hasn't it?
Because he was just, I'm not gonna lie, he just kind of was just there.
Yeah,
he was just there.
He looked like he wanted no part to do with Sean Strickland.
And I think that early knockdown played a big part in it.
Just about to get into that.
Just straight down the pipe.
Threw the left hook out just as a feint to sort of occupy his front hand, and the straight right was so clean.
Strickland committed.
And an interesting point I want to bring up is I think it's actually better that sequence didn't finish Izzy, because if it did, first round, everyone gets caught in their career. But Sean Strickland, let's be real, dominated Israel Adesanya quite easily. I mean, he said he's going to go full Michael Bisping with this one. He's prepared to lose an eye. He's going to lose brain cells. He didn't lose nothing. He's ready to fight again next week if he wanted to.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and those... right after he knocked him down, he was
bombs.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
He wanted to hurt that bloke.
Yeah.
Like, it is insane. And you think what's like the path Strickland's got to the title as well?
Yeah.
It's kind of like knocked out by Pereira, and then was it Magomedov and Imanov?
Yeah. Two decent wins, but I don't think I don't think any of them are ranked top 7 at that point. So
I mean, that's two Sean's who finessed their way to the title.
In my opinion, he beat Cannonier. I mean, that was a very close fight. A lot of people thought he won. So if you're looking at it, I mean, there was no one else to give it to. It's not like who's next in the rankings. Drickers couldn't fight because he was injured.
Yeah.
Robert Whittaker just got knocked out, and Robert Whittaker he beat twice already.
Yeah.
Izzy's cleared out that division apart from
beat
Sean
Pereira.
Strickland. Yeah. Pereira moved up as well.
Yeah.
So like Sean, it's like what you want about the title shot. He was the next in line because Izzy beat everyone else. And he took it, dominated the fight, and I think we've got an exciting middleweight champion on our hands.
I like the guy.
Yeah, I didn't at the start. It took me a while to warm up to him. He says some.
He won the Australians over as well.
Did you hear what he said afterwards?
You think he won the Australians?
Yeah, they were all cheering him. They were like, I mean, they were cheering Izzy as well, but I feel like Sean had the bigger audience there.
Yeah.
And a bit of a deeper thing, but. Did you hear his post-fight interview afterwards? And he was like, "Oh, you just got to thank child abuse, man. That's where I want to hear about it. Thank you, Dad." And like he comes from, like you hear him talk about his childhood, and I could not even. The Joe Rogan podcast is one of the most mental things I've ever heard. I would not even repeat the stuff on here that Strickland said
I haven't
about
watched it yet.
He said like, "I'm not going to repeat it because that I don't. It's mental.
It's come a long way.
Yeah, and he said he had to deal with a lot of shit when he was a kid in his head, like that traumatized him. But I mean, this is his event, and he loves the fans. He loves the sport. He's a bit of a psychopath, but this helped him out with that.
It does.
It's amazing to see.
The look on his eyes that whole fight.
He's
screaming at Izzy at the end. He's just in Izzy's face, and then
And I like the fact that
he punched him just on the bell after he's screaming at him.
Everyone making a big fact that. Sean wouldn't look Izzy in the eyes and stuff like that. And it's like, Sean didn't look Brendan Allen in the eyes. He never looked anyone in the eyes. Like
until he's in the ring.
Who looked shook? Who was the one who looked shook in that
Izzy.
fight? Sean Strickland, you can't shake him. He's the first thing he wanted to do when Pereira knocked him out was go and train with him and spar again with him.
All I'm saying is Izzy wants to be Asian. Strickland made him look like that, so he swelled up bad.
Yeah, where? It's not good.
What? It's an observation.
Yeah.
Don't mean anything by it.
I mean, he is the true Chinese
dragon.
champion. Yeah,
He's a Chinese dragon.
I love how Strickland just kept calling him China Man on the whole thing. And Strickland was just popping off with facts as well. Like, he tried to race bait Dreyfus.
Yeah.
He just did a lot of dirty stuff that doesn't lie right with people.
It's not.
He's got main character syndrome.
Yeah, and he's fallen. He's dropped off, like, socially.
Yeah, no one like. Everyone thinks he's weird now.
He is.
He's
always been weird, but because he was so good in the ring, never really.
Like, where's the Izzy that fought Gaston? Like, he lost that heart so long ago.
Money.
Seems to, yeah.
Money does it.
But, I mean, he seems like a humble, not humble, but like a down-to-earth guy still. He's not like gone Conor McGregor with that.
Nah, he hasn't. But he's just.
I mean, in some sense, I do feel a little bit bad for him. Not really. Not at all, really. But, he's just gone from the champion that everyone loved, like, that must be a hard thing to deal with, because
I mean, you saw him before he brought Eugene Barrowman on to speak for him. He just said, "No, I'm going to go, leave you in
What
the hands."
did you think about that?
I think he handled it quite well.
Yeah, because I saw a lot of people saying, you got to act the same in victory as you do defeat.
He didn't. I don't think he acted
neither do I. I didn't
out of pocket, or he didn't act sad or down. He said, "Look, I'm going. I'm hungry. Want to see my family. That's fine."
But do you think he owed it to the fans to say something that actually did support him? No.
Nah, Strickland's time, mate.
Yeah. I mean, Eugene, I don't really like Eugene. Nah. I've gone off Eugene as well because
I never liked him personally. It's just this. The way that
the team
works,
runs, yeah.
And they're just
except Volkanovski.
Yeah, I like Volk.
Yeah, Volkanovski is the only one in that team.
But their team, the way they work, and it's just.
I do really like Kai as well, but at the same time, they're just like Manuel Cape said it best. He said Eugene Barrowman said about Duplessis, how you're meant to fight for injuries with a champion, and then you got all their fighters pulling out like, and that's what Manuel Cape was saying. He was saying, well, I thought you guys were meant to fight with injuries.
But they were beefing Whittaker and everything.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just
exactly. But it's a bit hypocritical.
Eugene controls them a lot.
Yeah. And Eugene,
you remember the video when they were talking about Whittaker and like Adesanya's next to Eugene and Adesanya's going, yeah, just repeat, yeah.
And Eugene just contradicts himself a lot.
Yeah.
I've got a huge. I'm not a hater like a lot of these people are on the internet. I've got a huge amount of respect for the team, but just certain things, rub me the wrong way when it comes to this team. What is that funny? Is it?
Well, we've seen videos of Izzy.
Izzy rubbing things the wrong way. Yeah, Jesus Christ. But yeah, I think we'll move on from this, but all credit to Sean Strickland. I think if there's any guy I could bag an interview with in the world right now, it would be Sean Strickland. Imagine getting an interview with him.
Oh, he just doesn't care. He just says what he wants. That's what we need, mate. We need a champion.
More people like that, yeah. Oh, talking to say what you want. Last thing on this card, you probably didn't see this, but there was the two fighters, Manuel Cape in his post-fight press conference, and one guy earlier on. They both dropped the homophobic F word, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Both, Manuel Cape called Izzy and his whole team a bunch of, and then,
faggots.
Yeah, like you find at the butcher shop.
Yeah.
And, a guy earlier on in the card did too, so, God.
It's all heating up again.
Yeah,
everyone's been quiet for a while.
Yeah, now the free speech is coming back. It's America great again. But yeah, no, don't throw around that way. It's a bit mental. No, there's no point. But I don't feel like Manuel Cape didn't even know what it meant. He just heard some other guy say it earlier on and thought,
he definitely knew what it meant.
Do you know English is his third language though? So
really,
yeah. So you never know. I mean, I think it'd be rare for a guy like that to know the homophobic meaning.
He's just seen like everyone else.
Yeah, he's just hearing some guys.
The Aussies throw it around.
I mean, they use the worst words as like endearments. So, but yeah. Anyway, we'll move on to. We're going to break down the next three fights on next week's card, and it's the Terence Mitchell against Raul Rojas. Obviously, 18-year-old kid showing great potential. Had a rough one last time out.
Did he get finished?
No, he lost decision, but he had his back taken for a lot of the later rounds. Obviously, Raul Rojas.
Oh no, I'm thinking Terence. Sorry, Terence.
Yeah, he got Cameron Simon on it. Seaman. Yeah. Anyway, he got finished in his last fight. Obviously, he did show. Mitchell did show a lot. I think a bit on the ground. Raul Rojas.
Mitchell showed a lot on the ground his last fight, a lot.
And I feel Rojas, he's going to look to take it there. Obviously that's predominantly where he is, talking about being a triple champ and stuff. Obviously, if someone would do it, it would be an 18-year-old who's just getting into the UFC. But we need to put that on hold after his last performance. But I mean, this fight, I feel like the grappling strength I feel like Mitchell sometimes looks like he struggles with strength in grappling scenarios.
Yeah,
he gets overpowered a bit.
Cameron was every time, even though I'd say Mitchell was moving well on the ground and he was getting out of tricky situations. Like you see, I think he had his back taken and the armbar attempt as well. He got out of it, but as soon as he was out of it, Simon was just mauling him straight on top of him again. So yeah, you're right with that. The strength might be a...
And obviously, both of these guys are quite raw in the UFC, so there's not loads of footage to go off, so I'm going to get into the prediction. I think Raul Rojas will be able to bounce back in this one. I think he's changed coaches. I think he might train with Ray Longo now, obviously a great coach. I feel like his cardio issues will be resolved after his last performance. I feel like he'll grind it out to a decision, maybe have some struggles a bit earlier on. Actually, no, I'm going to go second round submission. I think he'll take the back and sub Mitchell. That's what I'm going to go with.
Yeah,
I feel like he'll just wear on him a bit. But, you know, a kid this age, you can never really know. They can, when they're faced with adversity, they struggle. And we saw that in his last fight. And obviously Mitchell, I think 34 years old, very
14
experienced.
14 fights.
Yeah, very experienced.
There was 17, 14 wins, 3 losses.
So, what about you? What do you think?
I'm going to go Rosas decision.
Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon it's going to be a bit of just a wrestling match. Well, we don't know because we haven't seen Mitchell.
No. Well, in the UFC we haven't seen him strike.
Yeah.
He had some close decisions on the regional scene. He did look decent though, but Raul Rojas, I think he's just got the right people around him. Maybe he's sort of calmed down his ambitions a bit and just maybe focus fight by fight. And I can just see him coming back a even new and improved version of himself.
I'm gonna go decision.
Yeah, so both going to win on that one. Getting into the co-main, we've got an absolute banger here. Kevin Holland against Jack Della Maddalena. Maybe the people's main event, let's be real. But, I mean, I'm so excited to have a title fight on a fight night. It's been years since that's happened. But, yeah, this fight has got a banger written all over it.
Big Ken dog.
Yeah, Kevin Holland, obviously big, long, lanky striker. Great jiu-jitsu as well, but he doesn't look to take it down. Jack Della Maddalena has got some of the nastiest boxing in the UFC. And Kevin Holland, I feel like he's similar to Randy Brown, maybe with more knockout ability, maybe a little less technical. But how do you think this matchup plays out? Obviously, Kevin Holland's chin as well, so that will get him a long way in this one.
Yeah, I mean, thing is, go back to the Danny Roberts fight. You know, when he was coming in with those punches, Maddalena's bouncing, and he can move
in and out, isn't he? And
if Holland comes out, like that, trying to fight him on the feet, you can see Della Maddalena bouncing in and around. Yeah, I think if he's clever enough, to be honest, he can take him down.
Well, you think Kevin Holland
should take him down?
Yeah, I think he should, but will he? That's the question.
It might come to bang.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin Holland's got the power to finish anyone, especially coming down from the middleweight division. He's been looking great at welterweight, but obviously Hamzat Chimaev and Wonder Boy there too. Like, they're going to take you in that. If you fight their world, they're going to destroy you in it. And he didn't wrestle at all with Wonder Boy, even when Wonder Boy fell over a couple of times and he helped him up and carried on getting beat up. He's not a smart fighter.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, obviously he looked great last time out against Michael Chiesa, getting the dash choke.
Yeah.
This one's a really hard one to call in my opinion. I think Jack Della Maddalena didn't look great in his last fight against the guy. It was his first fight in the UFC. It begins with a H. I should have hit a Hofer Hozez or something.
Oh, Hafez, Basil Hafez.
Yeah, Basil Hafez.
What a name.
Yeah. It didn't look great last time out against him. Obviously jumping in for the guillotine a few times, giving up positions. Looked good on the feet, got caught because I think he just thought he could knock him out. Hafez showed one of the best chins I've ever seen. But
has he got that kind of that like thing in his head where he's come in and done it?
Yeah.
3 fights on the bounce, and then he's thought, right, I can just carry on doing this.
Guy on short notice who was first fight in the UFC before he was going to smoke him. Obviously didn't get to do that. But I feel like this is a massive step up in competition from Madalena. Kevin Holland's fought the best guys in the UFC.
He's been in it since 2018.
I mean, his debut was Thiago Santos, and that was prime Santos as well. Like, he almost beat John Jones with no knees. Like, that's how good Santos was, and it brought him to a decision. I think I'm probably going to go with the underdog pick. I think Kevin Holland. I'm going to go with it. I think. Am I going to go with Kevin Holland? God. Yeah, I am. I'm going Kevin Holland. I think I'm going to go submission, third round. I think it'll maybe get him with a sort of a dance again, maybe end up in a scramble. He's lethal when he grabs the neck, but I really hope he tries to wrestle. That's all I'm hoping.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go Kevin Holland round 2 sub.
Yeah.
I reckon. I'm not sure. I reckon something from the top. I reckon head and arm maybe. Something like that.
Yeah, nice. Getting into the women's main event, obviously the rematch. One of the biggest upsets in UFC history happened last time these guys fought. Alexa Grasso getting a submission win. Was it the 4th round? I think it was the 4th round.
Yeah, she missed the kick.
Yeah, missed the spinning kick. And obviously it was a great performance. She was losing the fight until that moment. An interesting thing, the confidence boost you get when you beat a girl and become champion. Teddy Atlas said it. You almost get 30% better when you win that belt. Do you think that would be enough to maybe even put more of a dominant performance in this rematch? It's a big ass.
Shevchenko.
Shevchenko.
She's an animal. She's going to want that belt back.
Yeah.
She's going to want that belt back.
She was very salty when she lost, making a lot of weird excuses and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think Alexa Grasso, though, we saw with Talia Santos, Shevchenko almost lost that fight. She is struggling more with the up and comers, and Alexa Grasso is like the personified version of that. Great boxer, improved with her jiu-jitsu, great chin, obviously Mexican, you know what they're like.
Yeah, they just come in.
I actually fancy Alexa Grasso's chances. I
thought you were going to stop there.
Well, yeah, I will stop there. I actually fancy Alexa Grasso.
I thought you were just going to go, I actually fancy Alexa Grasso.
I think Shevchenko is probably still a big favourite, but I'm just going to go ahead and throw my prediction out there. I'm going to go Alexa Grasso decision. I think.
Yeah, fair play.
I think Shevchenko will be slowing down a bit. Alexa Grasso is going to have a big confidence boost. Obviously, I could be very wrong with this one. I've been terrible with my picks, so I hope I picked Spivak to beat Cyril Gane.
Yeah, what was that about?
I just thought Cyril Gane, man, his wrestling's terrible.
Was that Paris?
Yeah.
I was here, wasn't
I? Just before the fight started, I said to everyone, this isn't a lie. I said, by the way, I regret my pick. I did not think Spivak's going to win.
You could have changed it before the fight started. Sure.
Yeah, I could have. I did tweet, and I said I think Gane was going to take it now. I did actually tweet that, so, but either way, I
got battered.
Yeah. God, he did get battered. But I'm going Grasso. I think she's going to show a lot of improvement. She's getting better. Well, Valentina's on the decline. What about you?
I'm just gonna say Shevchenko decision just to be a bit different from you.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could be right with that one.
Or maybe a cheeky little
finish.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I want that to happen. Yeah. I've been quite bad with the old picks recently. The last women's fight.
I mean, you picked Ramos, to be fair. That's as bad as me picking Spivak.
Come on, there was a straight right.
Yeah, there was a few little choke attempts as well, weren't there?
Yeah, but look, come on. You could see where I was coming from in my little world of...
Yeah, I mean, I think a few of the big guys were sort of saying Lemos has a better chance than she does.
That's what I mean, see, look. And that's little old me saying that. Yeah. Come on.
And, yeah, that's basically all the fights we've got to talk about for this week. There is a bit of news I want to get into.
We were a bit tired tonight, guys, last night.
I feel like we've done alright, though. Oh, yeah. My first session back at Muay Thai for a long time. And me and Solly got put for our paces. My body is not feeling good.
Yeah, before we pressed play tonight, we were looking at each other.
Like dread in our eyes. Nah, I woke up when we got it going. Obviously, the biggest news, I haven't seen this anywhere, but I heard Michael Bisping say it. Paul Felder making a return to the UFC out of retirement. I'm guessing you didn't hear about this either.
No.
How crazy is that?
Was his last fight Hooker?
No, his last fight was Rafael dos Anjos.
That just after Hooker?
Yeah, it was his fight after Hooker. Yeah. He took on short notice. But yeah, so basically the story is he was doing triathlons, doing really well in that, like getting at a very good level. saw the doctor about a hip problem he had, and the doctor said that he's got hips of an 80-year-old man. So he decided to come back to MMA. So the mind of a fighter is just, and he's one of the smart ones. Just feel how stupid that leaves the others.
That's class, though.
Yeah.
Oh, you've got the hips of an 8-year-old. Right, sound. Yeah, let's just get
no
back.
more running. I'll just go fight again. But
he has to be doing something.
I think he'll probably come back at. Will he come back at lightweight? He's a bit older now. Hard weight cut. Come back at welterweight. Maybe get sort of.
I don't know.
I mean, I thought he looked really good when in his last fight against RDA. He struggled with the wrestling, but
I know. But we're just going to see another Weidman.
I hope not.
Just come back and say, "Oh yeah, I'm ready for big things," and it's not look that good against them.
I'm just trying to think who you can put him against. Maybe like a Ponzinibbio or.
Well, that'd be alright.
Yeah.
Actually. Oh, I don't know.
Ponzinibbio's just a big dude, isn't
he? Yeah. Well, Ponzinibbio's last fight was.
I think he maybe lost to Kevin Holland. That was his last fight.
Yeah, he got a round 4 knockout.
Yeah. Was that a main event?
Maybe
round 3 or something. But trying to think. I think he'd slap the head off Michael Chiesa. That would be one he could take. Chiesa's ranked. What's Chiesa? I don't know what Chiesa is. Sean Brady. Michael Chiesa ranked number 14. Neil Magny. Any of those two is a good comeback fight. We could go down in the rankings. Obviously outside the top 15. I'm thinking maybe a Daniel Rodriguez. Gunnar Nelson.
Rodriguez might be.
Yeah, Daniel Rodriguez is a good shout.
Gunnar Nelson, that'd be something along the. I reckon give him Daniel Rodriguez.
Yeah, Daniel Rodriguez is a banger.
I reckon give him Rodriguez.
Or he might come back at lightweight, which don't give him anyone in the top 15 at lightweight. Jesus Christ. But yeah, not loads of news to talk about this week.
But we have got some big fight cards coming up as well.
Yeah,
which I can't wait. We've got Gamrot Fiziev.
That fight's a banger.
Dawson Green.
Obviously the big card in December.
Yeah, no. The biggest card this year is Dawson versus Bobby Green, alright?
You know Dawson's going to slap the head
No, he's not. Why are you doing this, man?
Because Dawson's just the American fucking Khabib, mate.
You know what's going to happen, don't you?
What, Bobby Green's going to show him the hands?
Bobby Green's going to show him the hands, son.
Bobby Green looked great last time out against Big Tony Fergs. Submitted.
Mate, class.
I mean, Oliver and Dariush couldn't submit Tony Ferguson, but Bobby Green did it.
That's what I mean.
To sleep. But yeah, I think basically that's all we've got to talk about this week. Not as long as a podcast, still a decent length amount of time. We both hope you all enjoyed this podcast.
We both hope you all.
Does that make sense?
No.
Well, we hope you enjoyed this podcast. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, subscribe to us on YouTube. Share us.
That did make sense.
Yeah, alright. Let me do the outro.
Sorry.
Share us on Spotify, rate us 5 stars if you want, just to be nice. Yeah, all that good stuff. Thank you for listening.
Strickland!